the world treating you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I think so. You know, it's December and the kids know that it's December, and we were talking this morning about just everything, and I was like, you know, we've only got 2.5 weeks left. Like, we still gotta
Every single day
we
gotta count, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I really want to begin by just praising a couple of things that I saw that you were doing that were amazing. When you released them from the carpet, and they were a little rowdy getting started, you were very explicit. Come back to the carpet. And my favorite thing I saw you do during your mini lesson today was when you first, even before you made them come back to practice, because you had very high expectations of what their behavior should be, you asked the learners, repeat back to me what your work of the day is, right? Like you said, hey guys, now tell me again what you're gonna do. And one of the students did, and then you released them to go off to work. And when they didn't meet what you believed was high expectations, you said, let's come back to the carpet and do that again. And then you reinforced again. Now, and you called on a different little girl. I don't remember what her name was. But you said, hey, now remind me exactly. You got really crystal clear on what the work of the day was. So tell me about how that's going, because that's work you've been trying so hard to do.
Right.
And I know it's a constant battle. Like, it's probably, you have to be vigilant about it, I imagine.
So with my morning and my afternoon class, they are night and day difference. I have not had problems with my morning group, the group that you saw, up until last week, whenever we came back from Thanksgiving.
Okay.
The high expectations were set from day one, and they were following it. And since now that Christmas is around the corner and that's on their mind, and we're doing activities in school that promote that Christmas thinking, you know, they've gotten distracted from it. And so, talking to other teachers yesterday, I decided I'm going to be a little bit stronger about it.
Wonderful.
Just because I don't want that to hinder their learning, because we are still learning very valuable things right now. Right now in reading, we're working on plays, because that fits in kind of with that Christmas spirit of stuff. And so it's not really in the books of Lucy. It's reinforced in there, and we've talked about some of it, but it's not me reading out of the book every day. And so,
how are you? Tell me a little bit about how you're, because I know I was familiar with your starting your mini lesson using Fox, which I think is such a profound, beautiful piece of literature, right? But I noticed a couple of really powerful things that you were doing. I sensed, no doubt, an increased confidence in the way you executed that lesson.
I really enjoy reading. I'm a lot stronger in reading than I am in writing.
Okay.
With writing, I'm kind of timid with it all because it's all new. But in reading, I don't know. I've really liked what we've been doing. We're working with plays. We're working with one book, and we're doing all of these different things with this one book.
So being able to narrow in on that one specific text is really building your confidence. And then you said just a second ago that you really enjoy the reading. Do you just feel like teaching reading feels more enjoyable?
It does.
Or, okay.
It does. And I think it's just because it's like my first time doing it that I'm not very strong in writing yet. But in reading, it's been fun.
Last time we had been together, you had told me that you were working on writing your own lesson plans. That was something. What? I know that that's time consuming, and I imagine that you're probably like, when am I going to get this done?
Well, especially now since we're not in the books for reading.
Okay.
But thankfully, Lynn's been a great support. But most of it, she's just kind of been, do it how you feel that you think will help your learners learn.
How have you writing your own plans impacted your confidence level in executing those lessons?
I think that it's really impacted it because I have to kind of research more.
Okay.
Because in the books, you know, the books are there. It's my support. It's my backbone. If I'm not sure, I have books to go off of. They're right in front of me. But in these, I actually really have to research
and study.
I have to take it that one step because.
So tell me a little bit. So today I noticed when you were teaching your lesson, you had a blue notepad, and you referenced and you were modeling for the kids underneath the document camera. But you, when you got to the end of your mini lesson and you were reinforcing that teaching point and really hitting that home, the link. You looked back at some notes you had taken, and I was like, I was kind of intrigued because I was like, okay, she's not reading it from the book. So how are you kind of digesting it, owning it, like deconstructing it to deliver it? Because I sensed a deep ownership in that lesson today. So tell me more about that.
Makes me feel good. Well, first we worked on theme. And so we cycled theme. The first day we did theme, I was like, they don't get it, they don't understand it. I need to break it down. They need to have those steps that they can reference.
Which were those 3 questions that you gave them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so what I did for theme is I actually broke it down into 6 steps. And I know that 6 steps is a lot, but I really felt that it was necessary to break up the last step so that way they write it, but then the last step is revise it. It's not the same.
Okay.
And so that's what I did for theme. And whenever I went over to looking at our characters, I basically just mimicked what I did, except I added the element of characters.
Okay.
I broke it down into steps so that way they understand it better. I can teach it better.
Yeah. So in preparing for the mini lesson you executed today, did you utilize, just because I'm familiar with the story of Fox, is that something that you found in the Units of Study resource? Is that something you found elsewhere? Like, how are you melding and merging? Because are you utilizing the teaching points? You're just going a little deeper.
Essentially, yes.
Okay.
So in the first unit, the fiction unit, it does talk about theme, it brushes on it, and then it talks about kind of noticing your characters, how do they feel. And
which unit are you guys in right now? I can't remember.
Well, right now we're in the unit of drama.
Drama, okay.
Yes.
You're doing drama as in the TEACS resource system unit.
Yes.
But the Fox, which did that come out of?
It's actually with one of the writing, because we're also using it in writing. So I'm doubling up, and thankfully right now in writing it's kind of going off what we're doing in reading. So we're looking at it from the reader's perspective, and then we're looking at it from the writer's perspective.
Okay.
And so it's really just meshing really well right now.
Wonderful.
So that way it's just a transition of thought. So that way it's okay, we're no longer readers, now we're writers, but we're doing the same thing.
It's a lot of integration work.
Yes.
That's wonderful. So are you pleased? So I didn't get to stay and see them continue working on their drama that they were reading, but when they answered those 3 questions, when they said, what did the character learn? How did the character change? And what's going to happen next? Were they able to apply that mini lesson into the play?
Yes.
What evidence did you see that you could describe that you saw from your learners?
So I actually kind of put them in the hot seat.
Okay.
I told them that after we were done, I was going to call them up, and we were all just going to sit at the carpet, and we were going to listen to each other, and I just called sticks. And I asked them questions, and I was like, you guys have to be ready. You don't know what I'm going to ask.
Hold them accountable there. I love it.
So, and they had fun with it.
Okay.
You know, they wanted to hear what other people said, because, and I even circled it back to the theme, because I was like, the characters and the theme, they work together. How your characters feel is going to work into your theme.
Your learners were really eager to dive into the play. Was it the Emperor's New Clothes or something?
It was based on the Emperor's,
Hair,
yeah, it was the Emperor's New Hair. It's based on the Emperor's New Clothes. And we read the play on Monday completely. Like, they acted it out so they could see it, and they had fun with it. And so today it was just rereading it, understanding your characters on a deeper level, because they are 3-dimensional. They're not just on the paper.
So if you think of the lessons you've executed this year, you've done many of them in the darts world, and you were going to rate your mini lesson you did today on a scale of 1 to 10, like 10 being the best you've that should be like a model lesson that should be on YouTube for all people to watch, and a 1 being like the biggest train wreck disaster I've ever witnessed in my life kind of lesson. And you had to rate it between a 1 to a 10. What would you rate it?
I would probably rate it between a 6 and 7.
Okay.
Because I am still learning. It's not perfect yet, but I think that I had a really good start. So that way, whenever I teach it again, I can take what I used.
Like this afternoon when you do it with your second class.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whenever I take it again and I teach it for the second time or the third time or however many times I'm going to teach it in my life, I can use this as a really good baseline. Like, that's kind of
what were the attributes of the lesson that made you feel like it was a solid 6 or 7?
That they could do it at the end.
That they were able to go out and try it out and apply it, and then come back at the hot seat and show us, here was what I discovered about the thing. Very cool. So if you were going to say, I want to bump it to an 8, what would you change?
I think I would want them to work individually.
When they're working independently out here during independent work time, you want them to work by themselves instead of together. Say more about that.
So what I've noticed is that, especially with my first class, they do struggle more working independently than with someone. And I want to be able to get to a point in my teaching that I'm able to teach it efficiently enough that they can go out and do it on their own. And so I guess it would be more of a change in kind of some of their feedback from it. I might break it up a little bit more, break it down a little bit more, make sure that I'm a little bit more clearer.
In witnessing them working with partners or in groups, because I think you were very explicit. You said you're going to work with partner, and if you're 3, it probably will be a triad, which I think getting really clear is really helpful for the kids, because you tried to make sure they understood exactly what you expected.
Yeah.
So if you were to make it be independent, how do you think that would impact? Because they seem excited to be working socially.
Yeah, they did.
But do you feel like that inhibited learning or enhanced learning?
I think that it helped most of them.
Okay.
But I just want to get to a point in my teaching where they can go off and they can do it on their own the first time. But I know that's hard and high expectations.
I think it's a bit of a balance, right?
Yeah.
Like with literacy work in general, like I personally, as a reader in the world and as an adult, I don't really want to sit down and read with you. I want to read it by myself. You read it by yourself, and then we can chat about it, right?
Yes.
Or like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or what I could do is have them read it by themselves and then come back together. That's probably what I'll do this afternoon, is have them read it by themselves.
And then do the dialogue, then have the engaged conversation that goes with it, and work together on developing the answers to those 3 targeted questions. Okay.
I think that will probably work.
I want to hear how that goes.
Okay.
Will you box me at the end of the day and say, hey, I tried it this way, and here we go.
I'm going to be very honest. My second class, they're very behind right now due to math testing.
Okay.
So we might not get to it today.
Okay.
It'll probably be tomorrow.
Okay. Whenever you get to it, just box me and say, I tried it this other way, and here's how it went. So I want to